Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you for returning to part two. We are picking up where we left off from the last video entitled App Supporters Have Children. Who Will Protect Them? Right? Very important conversation that we need to have 1% so that we are diligent and we remain vigilant in protecting ourselves and our children as well as our other loved ones. Okay? So, for a quick recap, we went over the fact that app supporters range in age roughly between, teenagers and elderly women, and how these women have children and grandchildren, and maybe even great-grandchildren, right? And we pointed out the fact that children, as well as intellectually and physically disabled people, both belong to the same vulnerable demographic of people who are at the mercy of every fully functioning adult they encounter, right? And I asked everyone listening to reflect on what that means, the implications of that for children and disabled people. I left off also underlining how Shell's violation was used as a stress relief from app supporters because of their responsibility of raising children. They're stressed out about that, right? They are experiencing stress from that. And so this is why they use Shell's violation as a stress relief, as well as other areas of their lives that are in shambles. So there are more app supporters / fans who have children, grandchildren, and even great-grandchildren than we think there are, because again, the overwhelming support is overt and covert. That means the numbers are greater than what we think they are, right? Remember I mentioned in When Flip-Flopsters Attack video how a huge number of people come from homes where pathological lying is the norm. Remember I had mentioned that 1%, anybody that has been here since day one. Family members are expected to keep quiet, to remain silent about violations that occur in the home more often than we like to believe. As you're driving to and fro from work or your job or the supermarket or whatever. As you're driving by these homes, sometimes in these affluent neighborhoods, you would be surprised what is going on behind closed doors as it relates to children and their well-being, right? In cases where there is the black sheep of the family, right? The black sheep of the family who is willing to risk being exiled or ostracized, like me, by other family members or relatives for telling the truth and speaking out about violations, right? The black sheeps of the family, the black sheep are not black sheeps, black sheep are ultimately viewed and marked as traitors because they expose, I'm also using the gesture, using quotations, they expose family business, right? Because in many households, the unwritten rule is that what happens behind closed doors stays behind closed doors, even at the expense of another family member's pain and suffering. Think about that for a minute, right? Because again, and when Flip-Flopsters Attack, there were a lot of women commenting, and I even seen them in other comment sections. I was new. I was brand new, so I was doing a little research. You know what I'm saying? I was seeing where everybody here was at. There were several women lamenting about me being wrong and out of place for confirming that Shell is mentally challenged and that her disability is still being denied by her immediate family. So, as a result of that denial, she did not receive the protection and the covering that she needed and that she deserved. These are women lamenting about that. You know what I mean? That's very telling. That is extremely telling. They would rather allow a family member to experience and suffer pain and distress and trauma because it's family business. Yeah. Right? They were more upset with me for bringing that harsh, inconvenient, uncomfortable truth to light than with Shell actually being neglected, used, misused, and abused. Again, extremely telling. I made these chicks show their hands, a lot of them, just by telling the truth. That's how powerful the truth is. All you have to do, 1%, is stand on your square and tell the truth. Watch how many roaches come out of the woodworks. Watch how many of them expose themselves as they're accusing you of exposing family business. Watch how many of them show their hands. All you have to do is tell the truth. Listen, the truth can never, ever, never be suppressed. The truth will always surface and bubble up to the top. The truth can never be suppressed. I don't care how many years have went by. The truth will always make its way to the surface. That's the nature of the truth and the power of the truth. I made a lot of chicks reveal themselves. That's why a lot of them, I've never seen these chicks again, anywhere on YouTube, in anybody's chats or in my comment section. Chicks just disappeared because they feel dumb and exposed. They showed their hand, right? And of course, they are flip-flopsters, feigning concern for Shell's well-being, calling themselves protecting Shell from me, right? They were calling themselves protecting Shell from me. The only one that's still standing for her when no one else is. The only one. And I had to give myself my own flowers as I expected, right? Because people came on here, or when I came on here, people automatically painted a narrative about me. That's what they did, right? One of them, a channel holder, even had the audacity to question why I was speaking on Shell without her permission, as this flip-flopster, low-key op fan, to this day, consistently use Shell's images with feces on her forehead without Shell's permission to do so. The nerve, the unmitigated gall of this flip-flopster and the people who support this channel holder during that time when there was commentary, not content, commentary on Shell, right? These were women saying and doing these things. Remember, the premise of this video is to bring light, bring awareness in the truest sense to women being children's first bullies. Right? These were women saying and doing these things. And I'm going to continue speaking up and telling truths. I'm going to continue doing that. I don't give a damn about anybody's feelings. I don't care. I'm going to continue doing what I do, which is speaking up and telling the truth. Right? I don't care who I lose in that. I don't care. I said in part 1 that it is a good idea to pay close attention to what women say, right? Because that will afford you the opportunity to walk in their minds, aka see where their heads are at, right? So that you can get crystal clear on how these chicks truly think and move in life, right? That's what you have to do. It's a good idea to pay close attention to what these women say. Wherever, at work, in your family, at church, wherever in your life, in whatever area in your life, pay close attention. Pay close attention. Now, am I saying don't pay close attention to what men say? Of course not. But we know as women that we tend to let our guards down quicker than with men. It's unspoken. It's like an unspoken an automatic behavior to let our guards down quicker with other women than we do with men. Y'all know that's the truth. Any women listening to what I'm saying, y'all know that that is the truth. It's almost like we've been socialized in that way, right? To let our guards down quicker and easier than with men. And when we were younger with boys, and now that we're older with men, right? It's like we've been socialized to do that. Okay. This is why women will end up in avoidable drama with other women, because you automatically let your guards down because you can't fathom that another woman would betray and harm you in certain ways and your children. And you fail to vet women. You fail to vet women. Very important. I don't give a damn. They can be a teacher, a spiritualist, a minister, a doctor with a PhD, a life coach. I don't give a damn about none of that. At the end of the day, it is your responsibility as a sovereign being, right? As a mother with children to protect, to vet other women, right? Because if you don't, if you fail to do that, to vet women, we talk about vetting men in relationship, or we got to vet these men before we enter into relationships with them. You have to do that. You don't have to do anything. It's a good idea, because I'm not into telling people what to do. It is a good idea for you as a woman to vet other women, because you're going to have them around your children and your family. You're going to be telling your business, and then they're going to throw it back in your face, right? Because they were never there to be, they never had good intentions. They had ill intentions from the gate, off the rip, right? So, you fail to vet women, that's going to leave you and your family with scars, emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Okay? Then you have to spend time and jump through hoops to dig yourself, you have to jump through hoops to undo any damage that has been done. It is what it is. I'm not scolding any women for that, because I've been in situations like that myself. That's how I learned. That's how I learned. I'm not scolding any woman out there that's listening to this. It is what it is. We're human. You know, some of us we have soft hearts and soft spots, and sometimes we're gullible. As a woman, we definitely let our guards down quicker with other women than with men. This is why it's important for you to vet other women, okay? So you don't have to spend time and waste time and energy undoing damage that has been done. Because there's a lot of chicks out here that are treacherous. Treacherous. Anytime they can sit up people that embody chicks, female rodents, roaches, anyone who can embody the obster archetype, and sit up there and condone and participate and encourage the bullying and the violation and abuse of a mentally challenged woman, and have the audacity to have children who belong to the same demographic as the mentally disabled people. Come on now, y'all gotta stay woke. Stay woke. Pay attention. Stop sleeping. Stop being gullible. Okay? I'm not scolding anyone. I'm not trying to chastise, but I have to say it. I have to say it as is. You know, I cannot throw sugar on it. I can't sweeten it up, and I'm not going to mince my words, because I don't want to see anybody dealing with degenerate females and roaches who condone, encourage, and participate in the bullying of mentally disabled people who are also of the same demographic as children. Right? Startling realization right there. Okay? So, I'm sure that y'all have came across at some point cases of serial rapers or unalivers who use women to attract and disarm other women, right? Effortlessly bringing those unsuspecting women to them. I can think of a couple of cases that my grandma and my mom used to talk about that that they put me up on about. One of them, a dude back in the mid-'80s in Philly. His nickname was Cookie Monster. The dude was stalking and kidnapping women who were, prostituting, and they had drug addictions, right? So they were vulnerable, right? They were vulnerable. He would have used other women to attract those women. He would use other women to get those women to come to him. And there was another dude, Gary Heidnick, right? That's just in Philly alone. There's so many more everywhere who use women because they understand. These serial rapers and unalivers, they understand how women operate as far as letting your guards down because this is a woman. So it's going to be easier to send this woman out to attract and recruit other women, right? Pedos do the same thing. They know it's easier to pull up on a child than it is for a man to do so, right? So, females who are also mothers that embody the obstacle archetype, they cannot be trusted around children, their own or others. Let me repeat that. Let me repeat that. Listen very carefully. Females who are also mothers that embody the obstacle archetype, real quick. Anybody that has not checked out my video on obstacle archetype, please do so. Just go through my videos. I don't have that many up here because I've only been up here, so almost going on a year, right? Oh, wow. Damn, that time go by fast. Wow. Anyway, I did 2 parts of the obstacle archetype. Go check them videos out. Okay? So that you can include that in your arsenal as you're navigating life. Females who are also mothers that embody the obstacle archetype cannot be trusted around children, their own or others. Put that in your back pocket, okay? Because that is the reality out here. That is the reality, right? If a woman can bully or condone and encourage a mentally disabled woman to be bullied, intentionally ignore or dismiss the fact that another woman is mentally challenged, and there's another flip-flopping channel holder, not content creator. I'm gonna make sure that I reiterate that every opportunity that I get. There's another channel holder, flip-flopping channel holder, low-key op supporter, op fan. Op supporter and op fan, those can be used interchangeably, right? That kept persistently and consistently and intentionally dismissing Shell's disability. Well, her sister said, didn't her sister say? Women who do that are dangerous to children. They should be heavily scrutinized. You're going to sit up here and intentionally dismiss facts about this woman being a mentally challenged woman so that you can continue doing commentary on her as a way to soothe your conscience. This is why this channel holder intentionally dismissed and ignored the fact that Shell is a mentally challenged woman so that she could soothe her conscience and continue doing commentary on her for clicks, views, likes, and money and accolades. These chicks cannot be trusted around children, not even their own. Right? So any chick like that, she will also bully her own child or children in one way or another, or any child. And she will also rally behind someone who violates the vulnerable populations. Pay attention. Pay attention. It's very important. Pay attention. Because a bully is a bully. A bully is a bully. And there's a grave disconnect that these rodents have when it comes to their children belonging to the same vulnerable demographic as mentally and physically disabled people. I have harped on that a few times already because it's worth repeating at this point. right? So then the questions become, how did they develop this disconnect and why? How did they develop it and why? Right? Some of these scavengers have multiple minor children whom, when they are out of their mother's sight, are at the mercy of whatever adult they encounter. Think about that for a minute. These children are helpless. They have to rely on adults. And again, because these flip-flopsters are disconnected from reality, it does not register in their minds that their own children that they have birthed are just as vulnerable and subject to violations as mentally disabled special needs people are. Or maybe they are aware of that. Maybe it is registering and they just don't give a damn. Because we know that a lot of chicks have children for reasons other than actually wanting a child. Some of them have children to stay attached to the man. That's one reason, right? That's one reason. That's why you'll have a lot of chicks. I've heard many women say that their mothers don't like them. Children, not just women, but children say that their mothers dislike them because they look like the father. You know what I mean? Weird shit like that. Because they look like the father. That's telling you. A lot of chicks are having children for reasons other than genuinely wanting to have a child. So also put that in your back pocket as well. So again, children are unsafe around these flip-flopping, degenerate scavengers. They are unsafe around them. I know y'all heard this one before. I brought you in this world, now I'll take you out. I brought you in this world, and I'll take you out. I know y'all have heard that before somewhere at some time, right? That harmful, archaic, harmful ideology that still runs deep in a lot of people, right? That's another generational curse that needs to be broken ASAP. ASAP. Oh my God. Oh my God. To believe that children are their property to abuse and violate at will. That's what they're saying with that harmful statement, that harmful ideology that a lot of people still carry because their mothers and fathers and grandmothers, that's the type of time they was on. So they're continuing the legacy of dysfunction, right? A lot of people hold on to that. It runs deep, right? You know, op supporters and people that move like them, they also feel entitled to abuse and violate disabled people. I spoke about one degenerate flip-flopster who had the audacity to tell me via her comment to, and I quote, leave our show alone. leave our show alone. This is what this degenerate roach flip-flopster had the audacity to tell me via her comment. Right? That statement right there reflects these degenerate, sadistic mindsets. Right? And how these female roaches feel entitled to casually, verbally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, and even virtually violate members of the vulnerable community, children and disabled people. These chicks cannot be trusted around children. They cannot be trusted around children. Simple as that. Remember when I would humiliate Shell, right, by having her stand in a corner for the entirety or a considerable, sizable amount of time on her lives, right, while scolding her and hurling insults at her? Remember that? She did that on numerous occasions. You know, she thought she was eating. She thought she was being cute when she was doing that. Looking dumb. At the same time, looking dumb. That's the same thing that these roaches do on social media who call themselves teaching their children, particularly their daughters a lesson by publicly humiliating them on social media platforms. I know y'all have seen these videos, or at least, watched a couple of minutes, but these roaches who have children, calling themselves, teaching their daughters, mainly their daughters, right? I've seen one or two where, they were humiliating their sons, their male children, but it's mainly and predominantly their daughters that they're doing this to, where they are publicly humiliating them on social media platforms. And I've seen a few already. I saw one roach who embodies the obster archetype, right? Forcing her teenage daughter to cut off her locks. Real locks, not faux locks. Right? Forcing her teenage daughter to cut off her locks. Real locks, not faux locks. Doesn't matter if they were faux locks or real, because the act alone is humiliating and is degrading to her daughter, right? While hurling insults and other demeaning, vile comments to her. There is a competitive element to this when you think about it, right? Almost as if the mother wants to outshine her daughter and use her societal role as leverage, her societal role as a mother as leverage, as a green light to humiliate her daughter publicly on a social media platform. There is definitely underlying envy there and a competitive element to this when chicks do this to their daughters. That's what it is. It boils down to competition and envy, right? And I'm going to tell y'all why. This is. Because more than likely, the mother feels like a failure in life. The degenerate roach who embodies the obster archetype. She feels like a failure in life. She has allowed her counterparts, degenerate male roaches, degenerate males, who are also roaches, to run through her, use her up. Now she's ran through, tired, washed up, wore out of shape, out of breath, out of her mind, out of luck, bitter and resentful, right? Because she has squandered her life force and she cannot turn back the hands of time and salvage her life force. She now lives in mental squalor, right? That's the main reason. That's what it is. All you have to do is pay attention. That's exactly what it is. And now she has to watch her blossoming daughter, who has a clean slate, a fresh start, a promising future, you know what I mean, has not been dogged out by men like her mother has. The daughter has opportunities just waiting for her to take. Opportunities abound for her daughter. The world is her playground. It's for the taking. It's for the taking. And the mother is seething and burning with envy and contempt for her daughter. This is what I drew up when I see these degenerate roaches using social media to publicly humiliate, embarrass, and inflict pain on their daughters under the guise of teaching them a lesson. And then you have a plethora of other degenerate female roaches encouraging it and supporting it and condoning it. Right? So the mother is ultimately seething and burning with envy and contempt for her daughter. And because, more than likely, the mother repeatedly attracts and deals with degenerate males, male roaches, they are more than likely lusting over her daughter. Right? Because these chicks are the types that will have male roaches in and out of the home around their children. I mean, even one male roach is too many to have around your children, especially your daughters. But I mean, today, all the children are fair game for these cutthroat demonic degenerates. All of the children are, right? They all are. They all are. But as far as the daughters, the females are concerned, she's basically fresh meat, so to speak. She has not been tainted or ruined by degenerate males. So the mother is hyper aware of this dynamic, right? She is hyper aware of this dynamic and seething with anger and envy about it. And unbeknownst to the daughter, who is blossoming into a woman, she is now seen as an enemy by her mother. She is now competition to her mother, which means as long as she has to live with her and rely on her, the daughter is at her mercy. Can you imagine that? I cannot imagine seeing my daughter as my enemy. I want my daughter to be better than me in every area of her life. I do not. I work tirelessly to teach her and guide her to not make the choices and decisions that I have made that were not, that did not serve me, that were not in my best interest. I can't imagine viewing my daughter as competition. You know what I mean? I can't imagine that. But, this is what it is. There are women out here. There are females out here who do see their daughter as an enemy and competition once they become, they're blossoming and they're stepping into their own as a young woman, right? That's just what it is. I can't imagine that with my daughter. You even have some women who, if their daughters are accomplished, they live vicariously through their daughters, hiding behind their daughters' accomplishments. And there's still some underlying envy there and some other issues because, that's just not what you do. That's just not what you do. Your child has accomplished these things from their own minds, right? So that's an issue too, living vicariously through your daughter. Is the love genuine there? And the children know. The adult kids know what time it is. They know when you're truly supporting them and loving on them, or when you're using their accomplishments to live vicariously through. So there's so many layers to that, right? And again, that young lady who was forced to cut off her locks, and anybody that has locks, real locks, you know how much time and energy and love and emotion that you put into time and investment into growing those locks from your scalp. You know what I'm saying? That was completely out of line, out of pocket, and disrespectful. And unsurprisingly, there were female roaches in the comments agreeing with what this rodent was doing, how she was treating her daughter, unsurprisingly. Instead of doing work on themselves, shadow work, because 9 times out of 10, they were mistreated by their mothers, right? And so the vicious cycle continues. And no one has the courage to break that cycle. This is the thing, right? And you could see the pain and the embarrassment in this young lady's face. You can see it. See, these female roaches, when they become elderly, they wonder why their children admit them in nursing homes and never visit them. They wonder why. They wonder why their adult children want absolutely nothing to do with them. And I don't blame them. Now they're in a nursing home, sitting over there in a corner in a wheelchair with their face crumpled up, mad and angry every day, seething, scratching their heads, confused and flabbergasted, crying and complaining about how lonely they are and how their kids ain't doing right by them because they won't see them. Meanwhile, you have left these people with lifetime scars, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. And you're wondering why they left you for dead in that nursing home where people are probably in there, the staff is pinching you and talking to you crazy. Wow. You know what I mean? And even after their adult kids bury them, The adult kids, still, they are going to have to put in work to bury the pain and trauma inflicted on them, one scar at a time. You know, and it's just heartbreaking that children are born and thrusted into these hostile environments that are supposed to be safe havens, that are supposed to be retreats for them, right? But sadly, their homes become houses of horrors because they have to rely on degenerate roaches who condone bullying or bully themselves or participate in the bullying of mentally disabled people and any other trifling, low-grade, degenerate behaviors that they participate in. So, going to end it there. And I truly hope that you all have learned something from this. You can pass this along. Pass this information along. Like, comment. Don't be scared. Don't be afraid to like, comment, share the video. Get this information out. This for the babies. This is for the children. Get this out. Do not be afraid to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Okay, so we will reconvene again. I appreciate everybody for showing up and liking and commenting, sharing, and subscribing to previous videos. We'll reconvene again. Okay, peace.